of rappers Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur.
I provide.
Tonight's shocking allegations against the city's top cop. Former Detective Russell Poole has filed suit against the department. Poole says he uncovered dirty cops while investigating the murders of rappers Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur.
I provided the chief with enough information and evidence that would warrant a full probe. And at that meeting, I was ordered not to investigate.
21 gun salute. Okay, so, you know, this was in the archives and we never got a chance to ask, was this Tupac with his baby mama at the beach? Or was this a random female with Pac post up? And as we continue on, so Reg, word in the street, Reg, that you couldn't escape these allegations and it was bound to collapse around you. I bet you now, Reg, you will want Keefe D and his attorneys to get them Greg Caden boxes up out of there. Right? Because we all know them Greg Caden boxes is the reason why you came up. Oink, oink. We all know the reason that your name is called up in all the shenanigans because them Greg Caden boxes. Right? All them shits is Greg Caden boxes. Yo, Monterio was good. Salute. Right? Hey, Reg, I bet you will want Keefe D lawyer 4,000 pages? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Keefe D said, listen, Your Honor, those boxes, Greg Caden had them under his bed, under his mattress, in his cabinets. He was making docs. He was making movies. He got a case with the feds. Keefe D tried everything in his power to convince that judge not to put them boxes up in the mix. 4,000 pages? Suge been saying, yo, Joseph, what's up, my G? Suge been saying, if you solve one, you solve the other. He been saying that. Same circle of people. But I believe Suge was saying a lot of things, no puff on the replay, to get out of jail. And Russell Poole was found dead. Suge ain't started talking until Russell was found dead. And Reggie Wright Jr. was the one who executed that plan, according to John Potash. Reggie Wright Jr. was there when Russell Poole took his last breath. If he just happened in... Yeah, so, hold on. Now, this picture is an intricate picture because, you know, we're still waiting for these professionals to show us the Thug Life tat on this Pac right here. Right? The Thug Life tat is just out of there. And according to one of these experts out on the internet, they said they didn't touch up the picture. Okay. I would love to, no puff on the replay, I would love to see this picture with the Thug Life tat, the original, right? So when you deep dive in this picture, the rumor is on the internet that Yo-Yo slipped up, and it's possible that Pac got a kid out there somewhere, right? Because the way Yo-Yo slipped up. And I was even asked on multiple times, what do I think about, did I hear it? What I think about, what Yo-Yo said? And it's possible, listen, Pac was giving us, what's that called? Hints in his music to my unborn child. That's right? Duh, right? It was never about being in Pac's bedroom life, right? It was on my channel, on the mothership, right? It was never about being in his bedroom life. It was more about, exposing what happened in New York. And to this day, pictures with Biggie and Pac jewelry, it just keeps resurfacing. It's like ridiculous. Like, how many pics you took in my ninja shit? Right? How many? It's just ridiculous. Hold on, I got another deep dive. Here you go. This is another angle of the picture. And people were asking, is this Pac and one of his baby moms, right, at the beach? So, yeah, I believe, Reggie is looking at the door, checking the peephole. Keefy D had a metal door built, Reg. Hey, pork butt. Hey, pork butt. Keefy D, that ninja, he had a metal door put up. You might have to, Reggie really might have to build one of them Keefy D doors. No puff on the play. Let's just be honest. Reggie, on one of his topics, said today, or the other day, his last warning to Daz. You see, him and Daz, Snoop, it's all the same circle that had a reason September 7th was going down. As y'all know, I think it's in a day or 2 days, when Pac, I'm gonna actually find that document now. When Tupac filed the audit, we're actually on the 30-year era of that. Pac filed this audit, and shit hit the fan. He files the audit. After the audit, Yasmin Fuller ran down on Frank Alexander and Kevin Hackey and said, listen, watch him. Because, we just filed this audit, and watch him. Pac ain't had beef with Suge, or a reason to beef with Suge, until the money was missing. Right? I kept on saying it. I kept on saying it, even in the new era with the paperwork that we got, that Suge was even stealing the gang-related check, Pac's gang-related check. Suge was even stealing that. That was ridiculous. For Suge and David Kenner to steal the gang-related check and finesse it, didn't put it in their proper paperwork, and something happened where these film producers had Kenner on speed dial. It's just weird how even, or you know what? Let me not say that because I think Gang Related, it started filming in July. If I'm not mistaken, the movie Gang Related, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it started in July and it ended like in August. I could be mistaken. That would be a dope lifeline. I'm trying to find, as we speak. I'm trying to multitask here. I'm trying to find as we speak. Yeah, I found it. Hold on. Okay. Wow. This is why we the best pod channel. I mean, I had the best pod channel. This is why I had the best pod channel. Can we say that? Like, yo, they assassinated my shit. Well, I'm still waiting for you two to reply. You know, Mike Dorsey, that ninja, you know, he told YouTube he was suing me. I got the documents. I never showed y'all the paperwork, but that channel, the murder crap, you know, they got some Fugazi lawsuit. I don't know what's going on, right? So YouTube, you know, they sent me some kind of document containing Mike Dorsey's fucking lawsuit. So I had all these buster ass bitches reporting my channel, Vlad TV, the murder crap, the handicapped YouTuber with the pregnant co-host. Right? That shit got ridiculous. You know, with a lawsuit. Like, come on. Y'all niggas is dirt. Dirt. All this over what? Clicks and views? Y'all niggas is pathetic. So, you know, I have my reasons why I personally wanted to start a new channel anyway in the meantime. Because, you know, it's one thing to start a company from the dirt. But when you start a company from the dirt with the wrong people that was involved, it kind of like, you know, I'm like Jordan coming back with the 4-5. Right? No fuck for the replay. Like, you know what? It's cool. Right? You know, it's cool. We will rebuild, and there's other plots in the making, and you know, it's no rush. You know, everybody's in a rush to be number one. I don't get it. Y'all wasn't number one. Obviously, y'all not a threat to the community like we were. Right? Obviously, y'all niggas is playing along with their game, right? I mean, the proof is the proof is right there. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to hold on. I got. All right. So this is Pac's. When Pac fired Kenner, there you go. Can y'all read this? Right? According to one set of YouTubers, the professionals, right? Because these niggas be in their feelings, you can't even diss them on record no more, right? When Pac filed that audit, according to the professionals, this document was noted, and when he fired Kenner, when I think he fired Kenner and he was ready to file the audit, right? We right there by the 30th year anniversary. If you ain't see it, you seen it here first, right? Here you go, a deep dive. This is what the experts put out, right? This, right? So on 6/26/96, right? We in the 30-year era when Pac filed this audit and war broke out. We found out 30 years later it was containing racketeering, RICO, extortion, money laundering. Who and Sharita Knight with them scamming ass bitches act. Like, God damn. Right? There you go. A lot of people like to talk about the paperwork. Let's talk about the real paperwork. Pac fired these ninjas and started a war. So I believe Suge had every reason to want Pac dead. Listen to how Suge talk. Oh, Afina Shakur, you know, she got the white man pushing Pac work, and she's supposed to be black power. You know, I mean, I get it, but in a man like Suge Knight's situation, he shouldn't be talking like that. Drop comments below. A lot of people thought in Suge's circle that the money laundering, racketeering, Rico and Sharita Knight with them scamming ass bitches that would not be exposed and come to light. It was buried under YouTube. It was buried under YouTube, y'all. There's already people that don't believe Suge, a word that Suge say, anything that Suge say. There's already people from 9-6. Way before Pac filed this audit and the paperwork, right? That didn't trust Suge. Drop comments below. They was robbing Tupac. That's why I tossed it up. Pac gonna burn down Death Row. Jamala, she said it. He was gonna blow the roof off. No puff on the replay of Death Row. That's what Jamala said. Right? Can I play that audio? Pac was done with these ninjas. They was robbing these ninjas. If you just tapping in, we was asking questions. This was buried under the rubble of Discretion TV. You know, we was planning to come out, no puff on the replay. We was planning to talk about this topic. A lot of people was asking, who was the pregnant lady with Pac? Was that his baby mama? Is that the unborn child? Why is Pac post up with a female, right? She looks very comfortable. I don't know. She got the baby bump. Or, you know, like, at first I thought she was carrying a baby. But then I had to zoom in. You know, my old eyes, right? Go. Another look. Is this Pac and his baby mama? You know how we doing Discretion TV. Well, the new Discretion, the new era shit, right? Is that, you know, now, again, this is not that type of channel. I feel like I'm gossiping, asking questions about his baby mama, right? Little Jones, what's good? Salute. Welcome to Wrench Gang also. Yeah, man. So we're gonna change the name of the channel in a few days. And just to give y'all a heads up where we at with today's news. If you just tapping in, we were asking questions though. Can I get a picture? Hold on. I'm gonna put up a picture. There you go. So y'all can zoom in on your own. This picture is for y'all out there in TV world. So y'all can zoom in on your own and look at the flex at the beach, if that makes sense. Yeah, this is for y'all, so y'all can zoom in on your own and judge for yourself. It looks like it could be a baby mom's or somebody he's dating that he knows that was pregnant. Maybe she might come forward. Right? And said, no, that's not, right? I don't know. I'm just asking these questions like we supposed to here on YouTube world, right? Just ask questions. Yeah, so if you just tapping in, we going on a 30-year anniversary of Pac firing Kenner and Death Row, and it's amazing. No, real talk. Real talk. We're going on a 30th year reason why we believe Suge Knight was down with the plot and the assassination. This document right here was going to expose 30 years later. This is Pac firing Kenner and the movement to file the audit. It exposed Suge Knight and David Kenner and money laundering, racketeering, extortion, RICO, Sharita Knight, the boss's wife, funding and paying her American Express card. This paperwork right here started all that shit. Amazing, right? So on top of it all, no puff on the replay, Suge Knight sues Tupac while people were saying Pac is dead. They burnt his ashes, or they smoked his ashes. They burnt his ashes. Pause. Right? It was nonsense. Right? People don't know if Pac dead or not. Meanwhile, Suge Knight, not even a year later, he sued Tupac for $7.1 million. So you tell me. So I'm basically not even a year after this audit. No, a little after a year. Wait a minute. Suge filed in 9/7 a lawsuit against Tupac for $7.1 million, and he was gone. Pac was out of here. Wherever you think he did, faked his death, he really died. Whatever you thought Pac did, Suge Knight was like, fuck that. Excuse my French. Right? And hold on, I'm working behind the scenes. No puff for the replay. I try to give y'all that work. Right? According to Jamala, Pac was threatening to burn down Death Row. He was done. Pac was done. This matches right here is not by default. This was purposely done to show his fans that he was done with Death Row. Right? Because the whole money scandal and Kenner not having cases dismissed, and if Kenner could beat a murder rap, why Pac still doing fucking community service on the fucking highway? Or why the judge still trying to throw Pac in jail when he got David Kenner? Drop comments below. Why is that? Why is Pac going to jail for some fugazi shit still? Right? They was trying to sentence Pac. He was with Kenner, and he said they keep trying to throw me in jail. Right? Why Pac ain't have that exclusive Snoop Dogg representation? Drop comments below. Yeah, Pac was done with these ninjas. These ninjas was half-stepping and robbing Pac. They wanted him back in jail so they could steal the rest of his money, because they know that audit would expose money laundering, embezzlement, extortion, racketeering.
Death Row Studio, he was threatened to blow up Death Row Studio. He was fussing about. He wanted his masters.
Tupac was done with Death Row.
Do y'all hear? He wanted his masters. Let me run this back. Give me some thumbs up if you hear the audio.
Threatened to blow up Death Row Studio. He was fussing about. He wanted his masters.
Tupac was done with Death Row. He had fired Kenner, the lawyer. He was really on his way out.
He had fulfilled his obligation, and that wasn't his plan to be there that long.
No doubt.
He had a plan.
To live and die in L.A.
He had a whole life after threatened to blow up Death Row Studio. He was fussing about he was masters.
Tupac was done with death row. He fired Kenner, the lawyer. He was really on his way out.
He had fulfilled his obligation, and that wasn't his pen to be there that long. He had a plan.
Down LA.
Had a whole life mapped out, and he was happy. Threatened to blow up Death Row Studio. He was fussing about.
Wow, 21 gun salute. Yeah. Pac was done with these ninjas. He was done with you too, Pork Butt. That's what's so intricate. Oh my gosh. Yo, Pac, you are GOAT. Yeah, as we enter the 30-year mark of when Pac fired Kenner, Pac fired, you know, he filed the audit. He was standing on business. This ninja Suge and Kenner stole his gang-related check. It was scheduled to generate $20 million. Kenner ain't put the paperwork in for the contracts. Why? Because he diverted them fucking contracts. Them shits was diverted into their bank accounts. Embezzlement, racketeering, RICO. Right? Remember, the case didn't even go, the audit didn't get to go to court. And even if it did go to court, the media wasn't aware because Pac gone. If you just tapping in, you know, Reggie Wright Jr., you should be very worried. You should be very concerned. Like, enough is enough. How much longer, no puff on the replay, are you ninjas just going to try to get over on the system, get over on people, get over on homicide, get over on theft, get over on embezzlement, stolen Tupac music? Where is all that music Pac was even asking for when he was looking for it? Drop comments below. I think they was been stealing music. Pac, somebody got to think, like, wait a minute. Why Pac couldn't find the reels and the masters? Suppose he wanted to do a song over or something. Ninjas was probably stealing songs from the Giddy Up. That's what I believe. When I hear certain stories about Pac trying to get his masters, trying to get certain shit, it's like, why was it missing? Like, it's supposed to be like a vote or a room where everybody got their own section. Dog Pound, Nate Dogg, Rage, Snoopy, right? Poop Dog, right? Tupac, Machiavelli. Everybody should have their own section where the music is. So why Pac couldn't find his shit? Yo, Hell Jar was good. 21 gun salute. If you just tapping in, you know, we asking these questions as the time for the trial and the Keefe D era awaits. Again, I believe Keefe shouldn't take a deal. And you see, the thing is, there's only one person that's living that was there at the scene. He put somebody that looks like Keefe D in the car. He even went to Fox 5 and told him the wrong narrative of what happened with the shooting. Like, I believe this witness is helping Reggie Wright Jr. You know, I believe this witness, you know, can I get his picture up? All right, give me some thumbs up if y'all still here. There's only one person that actually puts somebody, like I said a few seconds ago, there's only one person that was a witness that was there that puts somebody that resembles Keefe D in that Cadillac, and that's Idi Amin. Idi Amin, he even has a narrative where he tells Ice-T the wrong story, the wrong sequence of events, and he was in the car behind the Cadillac, behind Frank Alexander, no, behind the BMW and behind the Cadillac. Idi Amin tells a whole different narrative what happened that night. He should be disqualified as a witness and held in contempt of court. You see, what I did on the first season, when I contacted Keefe's attorney and said, look, get the biggest TV you got. Right? And I guess he had a paralegal. I said, listen, get the biggest TV you got. Right? And zoom in. Nice. Tino. Right? I said, get the biggest TV you got. And zoom in. Go puff on the replay. And just zoom in. And you will see ain't no 13 on that guy indicating that it was Keefe D's nephew. And then the bullshit with the channel started happening. Reggie complained. Somebody put that in the chat. Pork butt complained. Oh, Discretion TV. He called Keefe D's attorney and tell them whatever he said that we had a stunt double. Wait, flag on the play, ref. Right? Flag on the play. Right? Wait a minute. I said nothing about a stunt double when I spoke to that woman. You see, Reg? That's how I know you're involved. Suge Knight is involved. Y'all try to set Tupac up. Unless y'all want to fix the narrative and say, hey, it was a body double and all that. Look, that was the first season. I was giving y'all a way out. Because I was telling y'all, it's funny to me how people living off my old corpse, right? But saying is, yes, I told Reg, I believe the police was involved with all the deceased, not just Tupac and Biggie, talking Buntry, Heron, Hen Dog, Vince Buchanan, Bobby Finch, Orlando Anderson, Gaddafi. We're talking about homicides like Poochie, where the shooter could drop a gun like he did with Hen Dog, rest in peace. The shooter dropped this gun and laughed about it, smoked the blunt, and picked the gun up, and Michael Jackson moonwalked out. Like, what? No way. Get the fuck out of here. Right? So what we were saying is, Reg, now it's getting closer, right? And everybody that told you were involved with Pac, you was involved with Biggie, you was involved with Hen Dog, Heron, Buntry. Surprised you ain't do Trayvon Lane and Neckbone. What happened? The gun jammed? What happened? Especially Heron. You keep bringing him up for no reason. You bring up the Heron homicide. So yeah, Reg, it's just a matter of time. I believe, you know, you're gonna bring down Suge Knight. I don't believe Reggie Wright Jr. wanted the assassination to go down more than Suge Knight and Dave Kenner. Comments below. Reggie got paid. He got paid. George Khalees got paid. Everybody got paid who played along, who covered up. Remember, George Khalees, what do you mean George Khalees didn't get paid? George Khalees was with side by side next to Suge Knight when he turned himself in and talked to Brent Becker. You might as well say he turned himself in. Ninja took 14 business days to go see Brent Becker, right? But in the end, no puff on the replay, I believe nobody wanted Tupac gone more than Suge Knight and David Kenner. Drop comments below. They had more to lose than anybody in this story. Somebody said, okay, Val, that's a, listen, that's a, a different approach. Yeah, nobody had more to lose than David Kenner and Suge Knight. With a statement like, when the deceased bodyguard Mike Moore said a statement like, Reggie Wright Sr., he said, if anything happened to my son, Reggie will be the one running the company. No, excuse me. If anything happened to Suge, he told that to Keefe D. That's why I keep mixing up the stories. If anything happened to my son, Keefe D is war. No, he told Mike Moore, if anything happened to Suge, let me correct the narrative, because it's annoying when I hear these YouTubers, they tell a story what happened to our culture and village, and, they leave statements like, oh, Dirt Rock wasn't in the MGM. He wasn't there in Vegas. What do you mean Dirt Rock wasn't in the MGM with Vegas? Dirt Rock said Orlando had his Rolex on. This is what I mean. This is they got rid of the channel. They put it on timeout bench, assassinated it. I don't know. I'm on my Phoenix Shakur shit. Don't do that to my channel. Leave it alone. Don't do that to my channel. Lawsuits and get the fuck out of here. It's just YouTube. Y'all ninjas is tripping. Y'all never had a puppy growing up. Y'all ninjas ain't had a basketball to bring to the park, no puff on the replay. Y'all ninjas was pathetic. Okay? Pathetic growing up. Ridiculous. It's just YouTube. This is going to take me to the Supreme Court. Right? So their peoples could screw this whole the whole story up and change history. Ninja said Dirt Rock wasn't in the MGM. He wasn't there in Vegas. What do you mean? This is the finals. Okay, they executed one of the oh my God, right? But I'm still here. I'm still here. I ain't dead. It's acting like they don't hear the voice, right? Y'all better come correct. No puff on the replay. Yes, Dirt Rock was there. Dirt Rock plays a major important part of this whole Vegas story because Dirt Rock not only puts himself in the mix and said Orlando had his Rolex on. That's why we believe. That's why we believe the guy Suge Knight is pointing to is the real victim, right? A beat down like that, and the ninja still got on his Rolex? Oh, shit. He ain't Ric Flair. Only one ninja in the world I know that could throw down with the get down with a Rolex. No puff for the replay, and that's the ninja Ric Flair. Shout out to Ric Flair. You understand? This shit is crazy. Right? Yeah, they want Discretion TV out. That's what they got, right? So they could come up with some fuck stories, say anything. Oh, Dirt Rock, oh yeah, Dirt Rock wasn't there. What do you mean wasn't there? Oh, it's so annoying. I watch everything, even on the bench, right? Even on this new era, we're not really on the bench. We putting in that work. No puffing and replay. We asking questions today. Like, wait a minute, is this Pac with his baby on the beach? Right? There's a lot of rumors. Pac had a baby. They saying Yo-Yo slipped up. They trying to say Yo-Yo daughter look like Pac. I don't even know if the ages add up. It's ridiculous when I do the age comparison, but hey, it's YouTube. Get your clicks, get your views, get your money. I wasn't hating. I never said nothing. It wasn't that type of season for me. My first season wasn't about gossip and talking about Pac's bedroom life, right? But because this is the new season, and shout out to you who've been watching the stories in the story era. We wasn't doing stories. We wasn't doing a lot on the first season. I didn't make time for it. Now we have time to try to show the people that we care about the urban community and the ghettos and the slums and the trenches and the mud. You know what I'm saying? We ain't forget about you. Yeah, very important question. And I'm hoping that, this picture with this lady with a baby bump at that, it's serious. It's very serious because Pac fans would love to know, did their icon, did their Malcolm X, did their modern Malcolm X had a child? Did their modern prophet have a child, right? So, yeah, Discretion TV. It's just content, right? So, yeah, Pac had, again, I really tried to I really tried the best I could to be patient for the truth to come to light. You know what I'm saying? I've met people in person that, they would pray on a stack of Bibles. They would pray with you. They would pray for you. But when it comes down to telling the truth and nothing but the truth, so help them God, they will lie. They will lie. And I learned that, I learned that with a lesson attached to that lesson learned. So what I'm saying is the Tupac escape theory, the Tupac helicopter theory, the Tupac body double theory, yes, I see the body double. I see the ninja look just like Pac. I see the ninja around the fight. I see him. Y'all see him. They see him. Why was there somebody dressed just like Pac, right, at the MGM, right? But when it comes down to judging this case, if I was to be on the jury stand, just to say if it was Discretion on the jury stand and how would I weigh the case, I would say money is the root to all evil. And you judge a man by his actions and his greed after a situation. If you help somebody build their empire and they can't even in the end be honest and say, you know what, whatever happened, yeah, deals were made, et cetera, right? You meet these people like Suge Knight and David Kenner, where $20 million for the gang-related soundtrack, $700,000 for the gridlock check. Suge got a Jaguar in Pac's name. What? Or in Death Row name. Or, with Pac's money. Sharita Knight, the boss's wife, she paid her American Express car bills with Pac money. Death Row Records was funding their company with Pac. Wait a minute. Nah. When it comes to stuff like that, for Pac, one, to escape that, I would say they would have to come clean with that narrative. That's a lot of money to give these ninjas a leadway and say Pac faked his death. I mean, yes, I think it's possible he did. Absolutely. But in the end, I will have to say no. I will have to go more with the Suge Knight and David Kenner wanted Pac gone because of that audit. Money is the root to all evil. I learned that with a lesson attached to it, y'all. Some people would do things for the money, for a come up, to present themselves to be somebody they're not, or it wasn't designed for them to be that person. So people sell their souls over and over again. And guess what? A person's greed, right? A person's greed, like Suge Knight's and David Kenner, will lead them to want to commit homicide. Now, the whole Biggie situation, I stand on it. I'm not saying I figured out the Biggie case, but I believe. Hold on, can I get their picture? Don't fuck this up, Val. Yeah, there you go. This guy, I believe behind the Biggie Smalls assassination, there's Snoop Dogg attached, just like he was with Pac. Snoop was involved or had, knowledge of play-by-play with Pac. And with Biggie, thanks to Reggie Wright Jr., I believe the revenge for the New York shooting was enough for, remember, Reggie was there. Reggie was there. Don't forget, y'all. Reggie was there at the New York shooting. Reggie was there. Reggie believed in an eye for an eye. Biggie called that hit on him? Okay. Reggie was there. According to that bodyguard, Gina, who had the Nina Nene Nani and ain't do nothing, right? Even in the new season, Gina, you ain't did Nathan. That little punk called you out and said you was lying and exposed you, Gina, for lying about chasing the Impala. Even when they was trying to correct you, the detectives was like, no, there is no hell. There's nothing like that. You did not chase the Impala. What made Gina say that? I was so disappointed in the first season when I actually saw Gina Deal get debunked, and he changed after that. His whole energy changed. That's what I'm saying. When they got rid of Discretion, but these are paid officers that were lying to the public. Why you ain't get rid of they shit? They the ones lying. We would have figured out the same gang picnic stories anyway, right? So, again, I don't want to see a ninja losing their channel or building a channel for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Whatever reason. Listen, it's just weird how the system is designed. But yeah, I believe behind the Biggie shooting, Snoop Dogg, with all the lies he told about Biggie, Snoop Dogg kept lying about Biggie. And he kept changing the story. First he told Angie Martinez he ran down on Biggie and said, yo, that Whatever he said, he told Biggie, I know you call that hit. I forgive you. And Angie Martinez was like, he ain't trying to say nothing. Snoop said, he can say nothing. I heard it for myself. Yeah, Snoop, there was no way Biggie was going to survive after that radio hit. And the way the timing went, I believe Snoop Dogg had enough time and his friends, whoever, Gaines, Mac, whoever it was, they all agreed that they would get Biggie. Now the whole thing is with the Biggie shooting, right? With the Biggie shooting, according to Reggie, somebody from his office took the call and the word got back from him, from that guy, according to Porkbutt. He said, look, they called me for Biggie to do security, but I didn't get the call. It was somebody named McDonald or McDowell. His name was almost close to Mama James' name, right? That was the officer that allegedly took the call and said, we could get the contract for it, or, Reggie claims he wasn't interested, or et cetera, et cetera. But that was it. That was it. That was it right there. That's all they needed. According to Gina Dill, before he got debunked, you feel me? According to Gina Dill, before he got debunked, Snoop was hunting down Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was hunting down Biggie. He kept on saying, where Biggie, where Biggie? I believe Puffy, drop comments below. I believe Puffy was helping with the lowdown. Remember, Snoop said he saw Biggie in ATL. Where you doing in ATL? You from Long Beach. Ninja, you from Long Beach. No Puff on the replay, right? You LBC Crip, right? What are you doing in ATL, dogs? What happened? Why are you in areas that you have no shows, right? Like, I believe Puffy was the one who gave Snoop the lowdown, because Puffy, he didn't want to die. He didn't want no smoke with that Biggie calling the radio stunt. Puffy ain't want no smoke with that. He told Puffy told look at the body language. No Puff on the replay. Look at the body language between Puff and Snoop. According to Snoop, Puffy kids be at my house. Drop comments below. Yeah, according to Snoop, Puffy kids be at my house. Okay, wait a minute. My fault, y'all. I was deep diving. 21 Gun Salute. Who we got? Dub Allen. What's good, my G? Who else we got here? Range Gang. Yeah, it's dope. If you just tapping in, we was asking questions. This Pac and his baby mama at the beat, right? We was asked this question, and also this No Thug Life tattoo, right? I don't get it. Why Pac tattoos wasn't showing in some pictures? Very interesting what's going on with the modern world. Even the Pac professionals on Instagram, and these ninjas are Pac professionals, right? They know every fucking thing about Pac. You should be surprised, right? they were like, they didn't enhance this picture. Okay, we'll enhance this fucking picture already and let us see the fucking Thug Life tat. Not, why is this Thug Life tat, just like the Toss It Up video, we seen it in certain shots, right? In the, oh shit, 21 Good Salute. We seen it off on the replay. We seen the tat in certain shots, like this one. We see the Thug Life, right? But in the mirror, we didn't see. Well, these are not good shots. They assassinated the first channel. Right? So those who know. This, if I gotta go back to that season where we showing the No Thug Life tattoo in the Toasted Up video, I think we're past that as a nation. But hey, this is a new generation now, and it's like a dream. It's just like a dream that got lost, like you can't remember, but you do remember. But listen, was Pac with his mother to be? Y'all can zoom in the fix in the picture. Like when I examined this picture, I said, look, she looked a little comfortable, like she knew it was about to be a picture. Whoever's taking this picture knew to catch her in the flick. When I examine this picture, I try to make it seem, I try to look at it from a perspective where she just walking by, but then it just looked like Vegas when Suge said, I looked at him and he looked at me. Remember, Suge was a little comfortable after them shots, right? Suge was a little too comfortable. That's how she looked. She just sitting there looking at, right? According to Suge Knight, he said, listen, when them shots rang out, I looked at him, he looked at me, and he said, look, I'm going to go this way because there's more cops or more like some shit. And Pac was like, why? Well, let me drive there. I don't know. What? That? Yo, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, but that's how she looks to me when I look at this picture with this lady with the baby bump, right? When I look at this with the baby bump, she looked like she's just ready for the pick. So that's telling me she knew that it was going to be a picture, right? Come on, somebody, right? And that's why it was valid enough for me to make this a topic, regardless of what season we in, and make this go out into the universe. And if you saw it here, you saw it first. I believe it's possible. Pac made songs like My Unborn Child. Pac made songs like These Are the Words to My Firstborn. He made phenomenal songs for ninjas that was about to expect a child. Drop comments below. If you know the songs I'm talking about, those songs, you felt he had a child on the way. And I'm not saying that this is possible, that it is his baby mama with a baby bump. Yeah, Pac. You feel me? I'm not saying that. Like he snuck one in, like for his true fans to know the truth, right? I'm not saying that, right? What I'm saying is the songs he made you know it's possible that there's a little Pac soldier out there. You know what I'm saying? Young Machiavelli running around, right? Solving people's problems or something. I don't know. Young Machiavelli running around with some bomb-ass rhymes. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, you definitely Pac's child. Drop comments below. So yeah, in these YouTube streets, D, he has 4,000 sheets that's added to the nonsense, and he was telling Greg Bacon, right? Can we play that audio when he was telling the judge? Keefe D. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, let's play the audio where he's talking about the boxers, because now it's all making sense. And we've been, it's funny to me with these happy-go-lucky channels where, it's just they don't stand on a narrative, so we could be like, well, you know what, that channel was saying that, or that channel said it first, or that channel, that's what don't impress me. With a lot of these channels, it's like everybody's on the same narrative. I believe so. But what we're saying is, right, Snoop Dogg wanted his get back. 4,000 pages should be for Snoop and Reggie Wright Jr. Not just Keefe D. What they did with Keefe D, they lined him up. Whoever told Keefe, which was Puff, come on somebody, to show up at the Peter Picken, what Keefe D said? The Peter Picken Museum at the Peterson Museum. At the Peterson Automobile Museum, Keefe said Peter Pickerson. According to Keefe D, Peter Pickerson. Oh shit. Right? And Puff invites him there only to tell him, this is how Puffy is a piece of shit, right? Puff ain't no good, and this is why he's in the situation he is. And victims upon victims keep on saying, nah, Puff, you did this, you did that. Like, I'm brave enough to talk now. He tortured them motherfuckers. What Puffy did was invited Keefe to the Peter Picken, the Peterson, the Peterson Museum, right? What Puffy did was invite him to the party, only tell him the FBI is on me. What? Ninja, the feds been following you since you got to Cali. Matter of fact, way before you got to Cali. What do you mean the feds is following you? Why you invite me? Get the fuck out of here. The feds don't follow you just for that night out of nowhere. How you know it was the feds? Who told him? Gina Dale? Get the fuck out of here. The Pope? Not serious. Pyru? Who? DJ Quick? Who told Puffy that the FBI was on you? For you to invite this man, Peter Picken, at the Peterson Automobile Museum, right? Automobile Museum. This ninja got me tripping on my words. Right? This ninja Puff is dog shit. He is, y'all. Bro, he is. This ninja knew the feds was on him and invite this man and his crew and whoever. They probably even noticed the motherfuckers. Like, wait a minute. Okay, let's play Keefe D's audio real quick.
He's in his house for 15 years in his attic. I got something to say.
You want to say Mr. Arnold? It'll be August 20th.
Yeah, address the court.
I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say Mr. Arnold? You can say he represents you, so ultimately you represent yourself. You can talk at will, but
Mr. Greg Hayden had them pockets at his house for 15 years in his attic, doing all kind of TV interviews. That should not be allowed in the cases.
he's going to talk about it.
Yeah, the boxes should not be allowed. The tainted evidence, everything. The man, he broke a proffer agreement, and he broke the law, all kind of stuff. The boxes should not be allowed. He's been at his house for 15 years, and he's doing interviews, going in the boxes. Let me see here. Ooh, you can see it on any internet site that this man.
Wait. He's telling these ninjas, don't throw these boxes in the ring, right? Woo. He's like, yo, woo. He's telling her. She don't pick up on lingo, man. He's telling her, woo.
This, though, disagrees.
No.
Because as this hearing was wrapping up...
It'll be August 20th.
Now address the court.
I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say Mr. Arnold? You can say he represents you, so ultimately you represent yourself. You can talk at will, but
Mr. Greg Hayden had them pockets at his house for 15 years.
Hold on, run this back.
The defendant himself...
It'll be August 20th.
Now address the court.
I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say Mr. Arnold? You can say he represents you, so ultimately you represent yourself. You can talk at will, but
Mr. Greg Hayden had them pockets at his house for 15 years in his attic, doing all kind of TV interviews. The boxes should not be allowed in the cases.
He's going to talk about it.
Yeah, the boxes should not be allowed. The tainted evidence, everything. The man, he broke a proffer agreement, and he broke the law, all kind of stuff. The boxes should not be allowed. He's been at his house for 15 years, and he's doing interviews, going in the boxes. Let me see here. Ooh, you can see it on any internet site that this man been going in the boxes for years. And he's at the and a judge, federal judge in LA did a 142-page thing about him. Look it up on the internet.
So I think what the state said ultimately is they don't think there's going to be anything in those boxes.
She wasn't listening.
You just used something in the boxes. They just used something in the boxes.
Oh.
From 1996, and they know when they did it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly we are.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. They crashed in my family in this. They did my daughter first. They did my son. Then they just did my wife the last thing. What's the name? Told me about these. Daniel Westbrook told me about these dudes. He said they're not only ugly on the outside, but they ugly on the inside too. These two dudes right here.
All right. At this point, there's nothing before me to exclude any evidence. There's been no motion filed about the proffer. I don't know.
Man, that judge, she wasn't ready for that. He's telling her, woo. Right? I'm surprised she ain't feel threatened after that. Your Honor. You gotta be careful. When a ninja like Keefe D uses, slang like woo. Right? He's a Compton Street legend. That Goes a Compton Street felon, right? Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, those 4,000 boxes, man. Again, Russell Poole, he did a lot of work. And, Poole, you see, the thing is, Poole, he had it right the first time. Poole had it right the fucking first time. And whatever they did, they tricked him to get Suge Knight out the equation. But he was right, y'all. Drop comments below. Pooh was right, if you believe so. There's a lot of people that, they followed me or they used to follow me on the first season. Now it's a new season. They or the future of this channel or whatever we built. You see, the thing is, Suge still got a lot of supporters that believe he could not sit in this fucking BMW while all them shots are firing. And they Tupac. Nobody in their right mind would do that. I say unless, okay, you give direct orders to your guard, and his father signed off and said, listen, anything happened to Suge, my son, Wink, himself, will run the company. Anything happened to Suge. If anything happened, if anything happened to Suge, my son will run the company. Somebody got to say, why would a CEO, somebody got to ask, why would a CEO tell a crooked cop that his son will run the company, fill in the blanks, if his hit crew get him GM'd up? But you see, the way these shots are, and shout out to this modern world and this new generation of Tupac fans. And some of these other Tupac fans, I've been watching them on other channels, like, who are those people? It's like, Vlad got his own set of Tupac fans. Who else? Pork Butt, he got his own set of Tupac fans. Who else? My Ops. They got their own set of Tupac fans. I'd be like, where all these divided nations come from? Pac is a nation that's deep, no puff on the replay, as fuck. And, bro, it's like, wow. It's like, wow. Unbelievable. But, again, shout out to this great nation. Because whoever did this picture and put the original riddled bullet BMW with the Leonard Jefferson, we got to see actually where Pac would be sitting or where parts of his body parts would be, no puff on the replay, when the shots were being fired. Amazing work. Amazing work. We don't even have to use our imagination no more, because this great generation that we live in, these Pac fans, very talented people. And some people call it the AI world, whatever they call it. This right here is amazing shit. This right here, we can actually see Suge Knight use Tupac in some form of protection. If not a shield, some kind of protection. There was no urgency for Suge to leave the shooting zone. Can I play that narrative with Suge Knight? Do I got it in the phone first? Or do I got to? Yeah, this internet and everybody who's involved or was connected to the Vegas and Biggie shooting, or whoever shooting, the story of Death Row, the legacy of Death Row, you see, the internet was like a virus, a deadly virus to a lot of these people that was involved. Whether there was the doorman, whether there was the secretary, whether it was the bodyguards, right? Everybody connected to this story one way or another. They caught the virus of the internet, and fame and clout was a part of it, and the ego situation where they can tell the story better. What we're saying is this backfired on Suge Knight because he not only changed the story, but it puts him in a situation where there was no urgency for you to get up out of there after the shot, Suge. Suge, you was not even no danger.
Music icons was killed. You were sitting next to him. What was the last thing that Tupac said to you? To you? Extraordinary. Let me just finish, Suge, by asking you this. You were there when one of the all-time most famous music icons was killed. You were sitting next to him. What was the last thing that Tupac said to you?
Well, the crazy thing about it, nobody followed us, nobody came, nobody come to help. And as we sitting there, I looking at him, he looking at me. I said, man, look, we ain't gonna go straight ahead this way to the hospital. I'm gonna do a U-turn, and we gonna go to the hospital off of Las Vegas Boulevard. He said, why? I said, because it's more lights and more people. And he said, well, let me drive. I said, I'm driving. He said, man, you bleeding all through your head. You can't see, I can see. And we was listening to oldies at first, but on the way towards the strip, he put in a song that says he did it about me. And I said, I did. You know, that's me talking about you. The song was you ain't never had a friend like that. I take your collect calls. You shot at the last Hennessy. And as we riding down Las Vegas Boulevard, the police ran us off the divider and fucked the tires up and pulled guns on us and was talking about killing us. So I always think about that. For a long time, I wasn't able to listen to Tupac's music because it put me in a place of anger, rage.
Why?
And my mother, who passed away when I was in county jail, always told me God loves me. And I know I'm not perfect. And I take accountability of everything I do. And I listen to my mother to try to make myself better, to improve myself. And I'm going to say this, and it's very important I say this because it's true. Some people can't be up. There's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr., and I say this guy's name not because he keeps lying all over the internet about Tupac. You know what he did. So, when I knew that he was trying to kill himself because he can't walk, he got to wear steamy shoes to make himself better. He got a great mother. I even know his father. So when everybody was laughing and said he wanted to commit suicide, I called him to give me some encouragement. He goes and take that to be negative and try to bring down everyone. Mainly because he hates Tupac. If anybody had a lot of involvement of the Tupac situation,
did you know your website social network traffic or television?
I know Parkland had his hands in it.
Drop comments below. Suge said if anybody had their hands involved, it was Reggie Wright Jr. And Reggie said, look, after the shots was fired, he caught Suge in the ER with a 304, having 304 relations. Dry comments below. So these two got secrets only money can buy. Right? And freedom. These two got secrets. I believe that Reggie Wright Jr., David Kenner, and Suge Knight, they got secrets on each other. Again, why would Suge be there at the 60K exchange? Let's make this make sense. Why would Suge Knight be around the 60K exchange? Why would Suge Knight be around when the 40 caliber handgun was being thrown out in the Bahamas Ocean and that was the alleged murder weapon? Why would Suge Knight be around the 60K exchange, the 40 caliber gun that belonged to Hussein Fatal, rest in peace, the 40 caliber gun that's alleged the murder weapon being thrown in the Bahamas Ocean? Why was Suge Knight there? Why wasn't he with Buntry and Neckbone in the Bahamas when he got rid of that gun? Why was his bros being incarcerated and locked up and apprehended by Compton's crookedest? Oh my God. Right? So there's a lot of questions, like why was Suge Knight sitting next to George Kalisis, Mr. No Weapons, the attorney that told him not to carry weapons to protect Pac, Brent Berker looking for Suge, the homicide detective looking for Suge to try to solve the case real quick. Suge took 17 business days. Like, who does that? And that's your little brother. So we're looking at his actions after the shooting. There was no urgency to get up out of the shooting zone. It wasn't, y'all. In his own statement, he was too busy grabbing on Pac and get down. Wait a minute. Did I doubt if those pictures are in here. Now you're like wishing on a star, you know. One of those pictures, you're wishing on a freaking star, Tino. Okay, yeah, I don't got those pictures in this phone. But we could post this up real quick. Not this picture. But that's a shot. It shows like a nerd. There you go. Suge points to Ninja. And let me see something. Well, now you're. What? Screenshots. Okay, I found the pictures. Two, 6. Oh yeah. Okay, so hold on. I'll be like, let me like make sure I refresh the zap. Y'all still here? Let me know. Let me know if y'all still here. Right. Dub Allen said, why would he point like that? I believe Dub Allen on some G. I believe that that this guy, he takes a picture of Pac, right, of the chain. I believe he takes a picture of the chain on Tupac to try to snatch the chain. What's more L? Anybody down with no puff on the plate? Anybody ever been down with a crew or know how crews get down or how, stick up kids and chain snatchers, how they get down? Wouldn't that be an ill ass play? He took a picture of Tupac with his chain on only to snatch it. Can we just make this picture make sense right here? Because we never seen this picture online, right? The guy, we never seen this guy's picture online. So this picture looks like I took a picture of Tupac with his chain on only to only when I snatched the chain, I could show proof that, yeah, this was the actual chain that Pac had on. Otherwise, where's that picture now? I could be wrong with that theory, right? I'm just saying, because this guy was sucking Pac. He wasn't stalking, right? He was on Pac neck, and Pac with 3-4 ninjas in a bodyguard. But this guy was like after Pac. Pac with 3-4 ninjas, and nobody noticed this ninja is hound dogging? Can we be for real? They want me to believe, right? They want me to believe that this is Orlando Anderson. They truly want me that this is Orlando? After there's a guy who's like, come on, let's knock it off. And, in the words of Keefe D, whoop de whoop, whoop whoop, right? Them ninjas got mad at my channel. And rightfully so. I mess up ninjas' documentaries, alibis, right? So what we're saying is there was no urgency for Suge, and all we hear night. Salute. Salute. All we hear is Suge said he grabbed Pac and told him get down. According to the experts, this is supposed to be the inside of the BMW that Suge was driving in, allegedly owned by Norris Anderson, or Norris Anderson's name was in. I doubt it. I think it was Death Row. But, you know, proven, allegedly. If this is the actual BMW, or even a replica of the BMW, Suge Knight getting shot, his chances are even more slim. Because look, if Pac really was trying to get to the back seat or out the way of the shots, because I don't think it was just him getting out the, you know, if, you know, if that's what they want us to believe. I don't think with that space between the driver's seat and the passenger seat, I don't think Pac had any chance. They want me to believe that Suge, they want me to believe that Suge Knight grabbed Pac, told him to get down so he could cover him. Yeah, all right, Suge. So you cover him. If this is the actual scene of the inside of the BMW, I would say it would be even more difficult for Tupac to go anywhere near the back seat. I don't see Pac getting anywhere close to this back seat, especially. Oh my God. Especially with Suge Knight. Bro, there is no space. There's absolutely no space. That might be debunkable. Pac trying to get into the back seat. You know why? You know why it's very debunkable that Pac was trying to get into the back seat? Because it's only the ops saying that shit. Oh, you try to get to the back seat. All ops, K-Dub, allegedly. Op, he's a fucking op. If you think K-Dub is your friend, or you a new Pac fan to the culture, K-Dub is not Pac friend, okay? He's a Snoop Dogg Nation supporter, right? He's Snoop. Oh my God, he's a cheerleader for Snoop, right? Bodyguard for Snoop. If K-Dub is telling that narrative, that's the opposition told him to lie. Reggie Wright Jr. and his fuzzy friends, whoever came up with that narrative, it was only the opposition to protect Suge. Oh, I grabbed Pac to tell him to get down. Meanwhile, Mama James, right, who was there. Do I got that document? Hold on. This is a new era, right? And a lot of the... Do I got that document? That's definitely a deep dive. Do I got that document? Hold on. I think I saw that document also. This is the Michael DeRoe. This is the Michael DeRoe. Let's see. Though I gotta have that friggin' document. Let's see. I think I found it. I think I found it. Is there a way? Be mad if this is not it. This is a deep dive. Oh, we can't even see this shit. Damn. We can't even see that. Even if that was the document, we couldn't even see it. Okay, hold on. I got y'all. We're gonna get the document. Hold on. Let me start. If y'all just tapping in, if y'all just tapping in, 21 gun salute to you. Thank you for getting the likes up. Also, I haven't said that in a while. I've been focused. Yeah, definitely get the likes up for me if you didn't like yet. I think they make it a little difficult to like the lives now. If I'm not mistaken, everything's switched up on YouTube. But if you just tapping in, we're asking question, was this Pac with his baby mama drama on the beach? Is this her? Everybody been talking about Pac has a baby. Is this her? Is this the woman that was carrying his child? She's posed up for this picture. She looks like a woman that don't want to be, seen too much in the public's eye. The picture was set up. There you go. Y'all can zoom in for yourselves to look at the picture for yourselves. Again, Yo-Yo slipped up according to these YouTube streets where they're sharing content and they saying, listen, Yo-Yo slipped up. And she said Pac had a baby or something in that narrative. Busta Rhymes for years. People have been talking about Busta Rhymes. Said in his album, right? A lot of Pac fans are interested in Pac's bedroom life. So that was main interest to a lot of these ninjas, who Pac was sleeping with and et cetera, et cetera. like a concerned trend to those that are more involved of who Pac was sleeping with. Did he marry Keisha Morris? Shout out to Keisha Morris. Did Pac marry Keisha Morris just for sexual relations? And according to Keisha Morris, they ain't even get that far. He didn't want that. He just wanted her moral support. So there's a lot of different stories and narratives of what went down with Pac's bedroom life. But if you just tapping in, we're talking about also Reggie Wright Jr. And, you know, these 4,000 pages that Keefe D told the judge not to get involved with, not to have it involved with the trial. And again, I did see the Michael Duro letter. Why didn't I snatch the Michael Duro letter? They probably won't even. It's annoying. How far did you get in the arcs? The Michael Duro letter. Oh, I'm not that far. Okay. Be careful, Tino. The Michael Duro letter. The Michael Duro letter. No. I thought I just saw that shit. So keep strolling. All right, I want to get the Michael Duro letter. I want to get the Michael Duro. Oh, yeah, here we go. The Michael Duro letter. This is the Michael Duro letter. Give me some thumbs up if y'all say. Thank you, patience. Got a lot of documents. The Michael Duro letter. Can y'all see that? This is Michael Duro implicating Reggie Wright Jr. and Keefe D. and Biggie. I know y'all can't really see it. No puff on the replay. Just all blown up crazy. Right, it's all blown up crazy. But this is the Michael Duro. Is there a way? I guess this is the closest that we can see Reggie Wright Jr.'s name. Meetings held between Reggie Wright Jr. and Dwayne Davis. Oh man, I'm tight because wait a minute, I'm tight. I asked him if it was Kevin Maples. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking names. So Reggie, I can't catch the part where they talk about killing Biggie. I'm tight, and it's not even blowing up where I can snatch it. But yeah, but this is the Michael Duro letter that implicates Reggie Wright Jr. and Dwayne Davis killing Biggie. So again, to Reggie, this is no surprise, right? According to Reg, and I quote, Reggie don't care about the homicide of Biggie. Reggie says, I know you New York fans and you East Coast fans, right, get mad when I say that, but I don't care about the homicide of Biggie. That's what Reggie says. So we know that, it was a lie from the beginning. I said, Reg, Michael Duro has a confession letter that you and Keefe D killed Biggie. He said, oh, Michael can't say no shit like that. Reg, he gave it to Vlad. What you mean? Bobby Ladd gave it to Vlad in the Vlad court of law. What do you mean? Oh, I knew about the letter. Wait a minute. It went from Michael Duro can't say no shit like that to, oh, I told them they can. Hold up. Salute. It went from trying to get the picture. Wait a minute. Yo. Yo, wait a minute. The funny thing, Lo, the ninja look just like you? No. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I really don't know. You see? Gaddafi said, the funny thing, Lo, the ninja look just like you. Do Michael Duro look like Low MB? I don't know. This shit is crazy. Rest in peace, Gaddafi. All these ninjas look like Low MB. Rafael Perez, David Mack, Norris Anderson, Michael Duro. We know he was a shooter. Him in Orlando. According to Blondie, they was bucking shots at them ninjas. Their initiation to the gang was to shoot at them ninjas. According to Michael Duro confession letter, he said, listen, my bro, Orlando Anderson, his uncle, Keefe D, they were having meetings in Monty's with Reggie Wright Jr., a pro hangout spot, Monty's Steakhouse. And the meetings was to kill Biggie. So Reggie went from saying, oh, Michael Duro can't say no shit like that, I gave them permission to put out the letter. Which is it? It can't be all those stories is the truth, Reg. Is either you knew about the letter, is either you didn't think that we would have stayed on 10 about this letter, is either you was trying to make up a lie about this confession letter. Regardless of the fact, Reg, there is a confession letter that you killed Biggie. I wonder, is that a part of the 4,000 pages?
The job post isn't getting enough responses, so I upgrade to premium sponsored jobs on Indeed.
Certainly, you just use something in the bosses. They just agreement.
Stood up and spoke to the judge.
Can I say 30 more days and then make
Okay,
that
we'll do 30 day
determination?
status check then on trial readiness. And it'll be August 20th.
Yeah, that's the cool.
I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say to Mr. Arnold, and he can say, he represents you, so ultimately you represent yourself, you can talk at will, but.
Mr. Greg Hayden had them boxes at his house for 15 years in his attic, doing all kind of TV interviews. Them boxes should not be allowed in the
He's just
cases.
gonna talk about it.
Them boxes should not be allowed. The tainted evidence, everything. The man, he broke a proffer agreement, and he broke the law, all kind of stuff. The boxes should not be allowed. He's been at his house for 15 years, and he's doing interviews, going in the boxes. Let me see here. Ooh, you can see it on any internet site that this man been going in the boxes for years. And he's a method, and a judge, federal judge in LA did a 142-page thing about him. Look it up on the internet.
So I think what the state said ultimately is that they don't think that there's gonna be anything in those boxes that they're gonna use.
Man, you just use something in them boxes. They just used something in them boxes. From 1996, and they know when they did it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly we are.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. They crashed my family in this. They did my daughter first. They did my son. Then they just did my wife the last year. What's the name told me about these? Daniel Westbrook told me about these dudes. He said they're not only ugly on the outside, but they ugly on the inside too. These two dudes right here.
All right. At this point, there's nothing before me to exclude any sort of evidence. There's been no motion filed about the proffer. I don't know if Mr. Arnold plans on challenging that or not. Ultimately, that decision is up to him. So we'll see you guys back on that 30-day date. That was August 20th at 9 a.m. At that time, we need to know if we're going to go on the 30th.
Thank you.
Crazy. That shit is crazy. Wild, wild west. The wild, wild motherfucking west. If you just tapping in, 21 gun salute to you. You know, Keefe D, he's been very vocal about the connection between Reggie Wright Jr. and the cricket cop, Greg Caden, a.k.a. Greg Bacon. He's been very vocal. Again, was it Southside Crips inside of the car? I don't think so. I think it was the police, Reggie Father's hit crew. I believe it was the Gambinos. Ray Richardson, he was there. That was Ray Richardson with Suge Knight. I believe that. I believe it was this hit crew who specializes in the shooting. Now, could it have been the Southside Crips? There is a chance, yes, because I wasn't there in the car. I wasn't there. But the characters that they say that was in the car don't match the actual witnesses. And rest in peace, Gaddafi. The driver was light skinned, not my light skin, but light skinned, right? And he looked like a biatch in the face. It even brings us to Michael Duro. It brings us to Norris Anderson. It brings us to David Mack and Rafael Perez. You know, a lot of them ninjas look like Low MB. I don't know. That's the light skinned ninja shit. I don't know. I've never been light skinned. You light skinned ninjas need to speak up. No puff for the replay. All you light skinned ninjas. This is your category. You know, I would sit this one out. Y'all heard what Yak said. Yak said he was light skinned, not my light skin. Okay, you got me on that, Yak. What the fuck you mean? Light skin, but not light skin, not light skin. All right. I guess it's y'all ninjas got to step up. Pretty motherfuckers. No puff on the replay. Right? I'm just saying. It is what it is. Yeah, I'll sit this one out. No puff on the replay. So, according to Yak, that witness said, look, the driver was light skinned. They were saying Terrence Brown was the driver. Terrence Brown is dark like Orlando Anderson. No puff on the replay. Black like me. No puff on the replay, right? Terrence Brown. Then they say Keefe D. It went from Keefe D being the driver originally, and Terrence Brown was the passenger, according to Bobby Ladd. But they switched up history. That's how we know they are liars. And Terrence Brown became the driver, and Keefe was the passenger. And again, that still debunks because Shalane, one of the 4 female witnesses that was on the convertible Seabreeze, she was like, look, that passenger was light skinned. And I don't know what kind of light skin she talking about. She's probably talking about like light skin. Like, I don't know. Right? But when she gave a description, she said a black male, 6'3", 6'4", dressed in all black. I knew for sure it was a ninja like Buntry. You see the difference? I mean, not Buntry, Neckbone. Rest in peace, Buntry. The Neckbone. When she said she saw somebody, Shalane, one of the 4 female witnesses, she said, look, I saw a ninja on foot, 6'4", dressed in all black, pointing a gun. She don't know if she don't know if he shot the gun, but she saw him aiming a gun. I knew for sure that was Neckbone. Final answer. You feel me? So, you know, as we continue on, what we're saying is the witnesses that I believe, and, you know, these witnesses make me know that the only person that puts a character like Keefe D in the equation, this is where it gets difficult. And you can judge me if I'm wrong, if you agree with me, or whatever you feel. But I'm just trying to make sense out of this whole narrative where Keefe D actually fits inside of the Cadillac, no puff on the replay, is the idiot I mean's narrative. Edie says the guy in the back seat looked like him. So I'm guessing he's dark like Edie, right? I don't know. There's a lot of trickery going on, right? So I'm guessing if Edie's telling Brent Becker the guy looked just like him, and Yak is like, you know what, Lo? The nigga look just like you. I'm guessing this is the narrative for the 90s, right? So Edie trying to sound educated, you know, I guess that's his way. Malcolm always had this way about, you know, trying to sound educated. I don't know. I don't get it. You know, there's some people that's naturally, you can tell they got some education with them. Malcolm, he tried to be like Professor It. Professor Spit. This is ridiculous. So, Edie, he's the only witness, which is a lousy witness. Edie's a very lousy witness, if you ask me. He's a lousy witness. He said, do I got that in this phone? So I don't gotta seem like I'm, throwing shots as I rebuild the brand. I don't want to seem like I'm throwing shots. I'll let y'all judge for yourself. I believe Edie is a very lousy witness. Lousy. He changed the whole Vegas story up for clout and fame. Here we go. This is why they wanted my channel deceased.
And man, it seemed like almost immediately after they made that right, a white Cadillac pulled up on the side of us. I distinctly remember looking at the Cadillac when it pulled up. At this particular time, Black arm came out of the window and he had a gun in his hand. He just started letting off. He was shooting so many times. Everything started moving in slow motion. And then the chicks made this right here. And man, it seemed like almost immediately after they made that right, a white Cadillac pulled up on the side of us. I distinctly remember looking at the Cadillac when it pulled up. At this particular time, Black arm came out of the window and he had a gun in his hand. He just started letting off. He was shooting so many times. Everything started moving in slow motion. And then the chicks made this right here on Koval. And man, it seemed like almost immediately after they made that right, a white Cadillac pulled up on the side of us.
There you go. A lousy witness. According to Idiot I Mean, and that's why first season, I told the ninja, like, yo, you are helping Reggie with the narrative. You are helping Reggie Wright Jr. get away with a lot of this shit, Edie. And, regardless of what have been said, okay, the audio I played, and I'm going to play it one more time. Edie said the chicks made a right on Koval, and after they made a right, that's when the shots was fired. Let me stick to the debunk real quick. No puff on the replay. Let's get back to the debunk. And if you're a real Pac fan, you know them chicks did not make a right till after the shots was being fired, if that makes sense. Edie said they made the right before the shots were fired. Can I at least debunk them on that?
Chicks made this right. And then the chicks made this right here on Koval. And man, it seemed like almost immediately after they made that right, a white Cadillac pulled up on the side of us. I distinctly remember looking at the Cadillac when it pulled up. At this particular time, Black arm came out of the window and he had a gun in his hand. He just started letting off.
Did I debunk him? Is that a debunk? He said after the chicks made that right, it seemed like the shots started firing. Did I debunk him? I believe so. He the only one that tell the fucking story like that. That's why I call him Idiot I Mean. The only one got the fucking story like that. What was you, sleeping with a fucking burger in your lap? Then you had fucking MGM pizza in his fucking lap. Are you fucking shitting me? yo, I better not see you on my YouTube report because I asked them, send me a report of all these people that's been making complaints. Like, just send me an email with, whatever y'all got. I already got the Mike Dorsey for murder crap. He got a lawsuit on Discretion. And he's trying to take me to court for all I got. It's just ridiculous. So, it's more political than YouTube, if that makes sense to me. I'm on my Phoenix Shakur shit. Don't do that to my son. We can revive him, Val. Don't do that to my son. This is like, we on our Machiavelli shit right now. And you see, the thing is with, again, Edie, he said a black arm came out. What kind of black arm? Dark skin? I think, again, Edie saying shit like it looks just like me. He implicates a ninja like Keefe D in Orlando. Draw comments below. Remember, Keefe D, yeah, it implicates Orlando for being a shooter and Keefe D for his involvement. If he's trying to get out of the equation of the car, Idiot I Mean is the one that's actually placing him in that car. With Malcolm's statement. Y'all just heard it yourself. A black arm came out. What kind of black arm, Edie? Like, no puff on the replay. Like, dark skin. But I think his description, if I'm not mistaken, he looks just like me. Right? So that right there is telling me he's talking about some dark skin ninjas. So I don't know. Nobody told Keefe D to write Compton Street Legend. You know what I'm saying? Should he be in jail for anything of his involvement? I believe he did his time already for his involvement. That time in Vegas, from the day they put them handcuffs on him. How much time you gonna get a ninja? Even if you give him 5 years for, taking a bribe or trying to be down with zipping them, right? How much time can you give a ninja like that? Like, on some real, like, all right, the ninja got booked for it. Like, 5? 25 to life is kind of steep. No puff on the replay. I believe the biggie, that's why it's a big deal. I believe the biggie now, his 21 gun salute. I believe Biggie, his involvement and his knowledge of what happened to Biggie and Keefe D, again, his very own statement, when we base it on Keefe D's own statement, when security guard Vlad told him in the Vlad court of law, like, hey, look, I just spoke to Reggie Wright, and he said Vegas is coming to get you. Right? This is Norris Anderson. Norris Anderson and Rafael Perez, David Mack, all these ninjas look the fucking same. If you ask me, look, I'm not light-skinned. According to Yak, he said, funny thing though, is a light-skinned nigga look just like you and so the black. Right? Y'all all niggas, y'all look the same to me. I don't. All right, so what do you consider Perez? Light-skinned or light-skinned? This shit is ridiculous, right? And then you got this ninja, Michael DeRoe. Welcome to the new era, right? You look light skinned. What Gaddafi say? You look light skinned like a biatch in the face. So all you ninjas, right? Y'all lucky Yak not here. Put y'all in the fucking lineup, right? But what I'm saying is, right? Idiot, I mean, he don't even know what happened in the sequence of events of Vegas. And he puts somebody that resembles not only Keefe D, but Orlando Anderson. So it fits their story. It fits their narrative. The way he even talks about it. So basically, there was a dark-skinned ninja. So we what we were saying, right? The only trio with a dark-skinned ninja involved was Rafael Perez, David Mack, and Kevin Gaines, right? That was the only trio with a two light-skinned ninjas and a dark-skinned ninja. Yeah, that trio. That will only make sense to me. And you see, Gaines being a shooter in the Pac case, if he was to go with the Idi Amin theory with the black guy, it makes a lot of sense. Remember, Suge and him was like arch enemies. It makes a lot of sense why Gaines would want to shoot. He was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard. Drop comments below. Like, Gaines got a lot of points of being the shooter, right? Kevin Gaines, this guy right here. So it was Gaines, Perez, and Mack, right? And we all know Norris Anderson. He just came in the picture. Norris Anderson with the drug addict, the rehab. He got the rehab picture. This shit is ridiculous. I don't know where they get this picture from. But according to Billboard, there's a document in Billboard that states that Norris Anderson not only was involved, but he was in a car. And Norris Anderson, as we know, and we should know, he was mentioned plenty of times in Afeni Shakur's carrying the torch for Tupac's audit. And again, I think it's the 26th. We can say 30 years today, Tupac filed this audit. I'm glad I remember. I'm such a Pac fan, real Machiavelli fan. You know, shout out to all the Pac fans and the new Pac fans. It's a new generation. A lot of great info out. According to this document, 30 years ago, Pac made a move to stand on all 10 and get rid of these busters. These thieving ass busters. These ninjas like Suge, who took $20 million from under Pac's fucking nose, right? 30 years ago, Pac made up his mind to say, you know what? They're out of here. He filed the audit, filed this document, fired Kenner. The word got back to Kenner that Pac filed this audit, this paperwork, he's getting rid of you. It didn't sit right with Kenner. No puff on the replay. I don't believe a guy like David Kenner, and that move never been done before from nobody on death row. Can we just make that make sense? Nobody on death row ever did a boss move on David Kenner like that and filed paperwork, filed audit, fired him, got rid of him, right? On this day, 30 years ago, Pac made boss move, fired Kenner. I could hear Kenner now. His voice is still echoing in death row offices. What do you mean Tupac fired me? Tupac, what do you mean want me fired? Right? Again, Pac was the cash cow. And Pac was funding these guys. And secretly, they all was, they needed a boost in their economy because of their lifestyles and their greedy motives and their greedy ways. Pac got word of it, and according to Yasmin, according to Frank Alexander, It was on a set of Gridlock while Pac was filming a movie. On the set of Gridlock, it was, according to Frank Alexander, it was him and Kevin Hackey. You know, Kevin Hackey was there. He was wired. Drop comments below. Don't forget, Kevin Hackey had a wire. Kevin Hackey was a different ninja, right? Yasmin said, look, watch him. According to Frank Alexander, like a few weeks later or a few days later, Al Giddens, Sheriffs. Thanks, Reg. Now that we know Al Giddens, right, from the Sheriff Department, right? Al Giddens. Wow. He was sheriff all this time, and we know the sheriff saw Russell Poole dead. That's crazy. Can we get Al Giddens on the screen for this next generation? Since they, they wanted me out so bad that first season. No puff on the replay, right? Let's see. Can we get Al Giddens on the screen? Yeah, it was all a lie. That Tim Brandon affidavit from the beginning was all lies. Tim Brandon, a.k.a. Blondie, DJ Quick gave him his name. And, it's just crazy how, DJ Quick would fuck with him, excuse my French, in a way, that he would name him Blondie and also do a song about him. Not only did DJ Quick name this ninja Blondie, he did a song about him. Right? So, according to Frank Alexander, Al Giddens from the Sheriff's Department called him and said, listen, come get Pac because he's wilding. He's trying to take Masters out the freaking studio, and Suge don't allow nobody to take Masters, right? So he filed this audit, filed the paperwork 30 years ago, and also was trying to get his Masters. We was asking questions like, wait a minute, where was his Masters? Why he couldn't find them? It's a studio. They should be in one area. Did Death Row already made move to hide Pac's studio recordings? That's a question that they can actually ask in trials to come. I believe there's going to be plenty of trials if they get their ducks in a row. So I can't find the picture. Let me try one more time to look for this Al Giddens picture. So Pac filed the audit. Yasmin tells the bodyguards, watch him a little carefully. But this guy, Kevin Hackey, can I get Kevin Hackey on the screen? The first whistleblower, Kevin Hackey. Yeah, Kevin Hackey. She said this in front of him. Watch him a little closer. Because he just filed an audit. That's crazy. Yeah, can I get Kevin Hackey on the screen at least? Here we go. According to Kevin Hackey, with his weird lifestyle, right? Kevin Hackey was right there standing in front of Yasmin Fuller when she said, watch him a little carefully, watch him a little more, because he just filed his audit. And, Suge don't, Suge ain't know this boss move. And Yasmin warning the bodyguards, not knowing Kevin Hackey was wired. That's how we knew feds. The feds knew play-by-play anyway with the Pac case and Biggie case. It wasn't no secret. Man, the feds knew play-by-play what was going on. Kevin Hackey was fucking wired every fucking day. Right? Talking about he's investigating some racketeering bullshit. Right? I don't know what's worse. Puffy inviting Keefe D to the Peter Picken, the Peterson Museum. I don't know what's worse. Puffy inviting Keefe to the museum and telling Keefe when he got there, yo, chill, man. Don't be on me, man. The feds is watching me. Right? How did it go from you invite me to this party to the feds watching you? It was ridiculous. And then this guy, Kevin Hackey, first whistleblower that was still moonlighting with these ninjas, right? So Kevin Hackey gets the word. I'm trying to look for this Al Giddens picture. I had a picture of Al Giddens, the sheriffs. So Kevin Hackey is wired. He's listening to this. Go back to his FBI bosses. That's in June, July. And again, we're still out. What was the reason for Pac firing Reggie? I believe, you know what it is? I'm going to keep it 100. And, we're going to talk about this Kevin Hackey weird lifestyle, because why would you name your company Blue Knight Global Services? Like, what was the obsession with Red, Blue, Pyru, Southside Crips with these crooked cops? Even in their big age, got their companies. These ninjas, look what he named his company, Blue Knight Global Services, right? Mesmerized by Suge. And what he gonna say? Blue was for the cops, NYPD. But he was a crooked cop. So what we talking about here? Right? It's just nonsense. This is why Pac was like, wait a minute. I believe the only theory that makes sense why Reggie would be fired where you at, oink oink? Let me get oink oink on the screen. The only thing that makes sense why Pac would fire Reggie Wright Jr., the only thing that would make sense is when it leaked out by Mike Moore, no puff on the replay, when it got out that Reggie Wright Sr. was bragging that if anything happened to Suge, my son would run the company. I think that brushed Pac the wrong way. Like, oh yeah? How the head of security gonna run the label? Drop comments below. I believe so. I believe the word got back to Pac. Somebody leaked that to Pac because Mike Moore made it seem like it was a couple of weeks, a couple of weeks before the Vegas shooting. Drop comments below. Yeah, Mike Moore made it seem like, you know what? When we was out with Mr. Knight, we was jet skiing. Remember, I used to say a pork on jet skis. Imagine a pig on jet skis. He said we was out Mr. Knight jet skiing. He was blurred out and said, if anything happened to Suge, my son would be the one running the company. I believe Pac heard that and was like, oh yeah, oink oink. August 27th, you got fired. Yeah, if you just tapping in, 30 years ago, Pac fired these ninjas. This letter you're looking at, all real Pac fans should know what this letter is. Signed, signatured by the real Tupac. All real Pac fans should know what this letter means. And when you see his signature, signed today, 30 years ago, what an amazing 30 years has been, because now we know Suge Knight and David Kenner was robbing Tupac to pay for Death Row and the Death Row's, whatever Death Row had to pay for. It's ridiculous. Like, that was bogus. And not only Suge Knight and David Kenner got caught with their hands in a cookie jar for racketeering, extortion, RICO. They even put RICO, right, in the paperwork. But Sharita Knight was with them scamming ass bitches at, right? So, on this day, Pac stood on all 10 and was like, I'm gonna get rid of these busters. Again, we was talking about, was this Pac and his baby mama drama and his baby mom on the beach? Who's this lady with the baby bump? Can we get a name? If not, don't lie, because we'll debunk it. Eventually, it'll get debunked. Don't be a Reggie Wright Jr. out there just making up shit. If you don't know who this lady is, just leave it alone. No puff on the replay, right? Well, we're asking. There's a rumor on the internet. We're just asking questions. There's a rumor on the internet, and y'all can zoom in on this picture yourself, that Pac did have a child out there somewhere. Yo-Yo, according to what's been said in these YouTube streets, Yo-Yo slipped up and said something about Pac having a child. Busta Rhymes, he said it, he wrote it in the album cover during his shout-outs that Pac had a daughter. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. We put in the APB out. Could it possibly be? I believe so. I wouldn't put all my eggs in a basket and say, nah, that's not his baby mom's. That's just some lady standing behind him, knowing that it's going to be a picture and she's looking. Like, who wants to be in a picture just standing there looking and ready if you don't know this man? First of all, can we just make this make sense, right? This is why I did the topic, because she's standing there looking at this man, no puff on the replay, while he take a picture, right? So selfie cameras wasn't around, so somebody took this picture, unless Pac has some kind of selfie device. We seen him in Made Ninjas. He was like the first artist to use a selfie camera in a video, Made Ninjas. Again, where Suge Knight stole and David Kenner stole the checks for that album, the double album, Made Ninjas, that was There you go. The soundtrack gang related double album was supposed to be executive produced by Pac or some kind of contract David Kenner was supposed to submit, and he didn't even submit it. Um, so much mystery. And again, this project was $20 million, right? So, yeah, I'll show. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying possibly had a child, or Busta Rhymes, like I said something like he had a daughter. Also, again, this new era, Yo-Yo said that they said it might have been what we're saying is this the actual baby mama with the baby bump?